If Condiment Claire had a brand identity, this is how I would envision it as a brand identity designer. She has no idea who I am or that I'm doing this. I just decided to do it for fun because she's one of my absolute favorite TikTokers. I love her vibe, love her sense of humor, love her fashion sense, and just love how quirky and zesty about life she is. So let's go. So let's jump right in. As I said, this is a passion project. Claire did not know that I'm doing this. This is just for fun. But the first step that we're going to do is create a mood board. And a mood board will set the overall general tone and vibe that I'm going for this entire brand identity. So the final mood board is done. I'm really loving the vibe and where everything is. I'm loving this playful font. I'm loving all of these bold shapes. I just love this image, and this image. I just think reflect her colors and her personality. A lot of her social media is made up of blues and reds and greens, and she's got a lot of plaid on all of her social media stuff. Like if you look at her Instagram, if you look at her TikTok, there's lots of plaid. And yeah, I just really love these types of fonts. So there is a constant theme going throughout this mood board, which is good because that's what a mood board is intended to do. It's to create the mood. Now, the way that I see Claire, I've never met her, but the vibe that she gives off from her online presence is that she has a good sense of humor, she loves food, she has awesome fashion sense, she's energetic, she's fun, she's zesty, she's bright, she's bold, she's a mix of flavors and cultures, she's got the mill, she's got tomates, so she's kind of like a little bit of everything, and I kind of love that. So it's all over the place, and she seems to be very adventurous, she explores a lot, and she seems like a very joyful person, so I really wanted that to come through in this branding. So I ended up doing something quite passionate and fun for the logo, and it's also quite youthful. The reason I decided to create a fake brand identity for Condiment Claire is, yes, she's one of my favorite TikTokers, but secondly, because I feel like her style, her vibe, and just her essence really matches my type of design style. So I thought she would be a great candidate for me to create a brand identity for in my style. And yeah, I had so much fun doing this project. I did a primary logo, and then I went and did a secondary logo, which is a submark logo, and then I moved on to the brand colors. Now there were 3 images that I found that, in my opinion, very clearly depict Claire's vibe and her essence, and just like everything on her social media comes from these 3 colors or from plaids and this sort of like farmy natural vibe. She does a lot of foraging, she loves making jams and that sort of stuff, so I just thought having something natural but also bright and vibrant, colors found in nature, which would be quite fun and exciting, be really good and ideal. And then after I'd finished the primary logo and the secondary logo and I'd figured out the brand colors, I then moved on to doing a little brand pattern. So for the pattern, I decided to do an array of different types of food, and obviously I had to do a baguette because Claire is French and American, so it would be quite fun to put a baguette in, and also she eats a lot of baguette on her social media with ham and butter. So I created this beautiful brand pattern with lots of bold, bright colors that fitted together really beautifully. I was thinking of all sorts of different things that you use in jams and sauces and condiments and things to flavor food with, so this was lots of fun. And of course we had to include a wine glass, and then if I was doing a wine glass, I was like, well, it might be a good idea to also do a wine bottle. So I was quite enjoying doing this little pattern, and it was lots of fun. I was just using the pencil tool with my mouse to draw it. So that's the great thing about a brand pattern, is it doesn't have to be something that is crazy hectic. You can just do something fun and spunky like this, and you don't need a drawing tablet to make a brand pattern. You can use your mouse and it works out just perfectly fine. The brand pattern part of the brand identity process is one of my most favorite steps in the process because it's so much fun and you get to play and fiddle, and I love to draw and illustrate. Illustration is one of my strongest points in my portfolio, so being able to add some sort of artistic flair into brand identity is something that I really love and enjoy. So now that I have the pattern done and dusted, it's always good to put your logo on the pattern as well. So I just created this fun spunky little splatter, so kind of like a little condiment splatter, and then I put the logo on the condiment splatter so that you could see it nice and beautifully. And then I moved on to social media. So I'm sorry, Claire, I did stalk your Instagram and I stole some of your pictures. So all of these pictures are pictures that are on her Instagram live at the moment. And I just wanted to see what the vibe would look like if I had to apply it to her existing brand assets that she has on Instagram, all of these pictures, and I'd say it works out quite nicely. It just gives off a really nice flair So I was kind of just mocking up that and seeing what they look like on different social media posts, and I also was trying out her primary logo and her submark logo in different colors, color variations, seeing what works, what didn't work, and yeah, it was kind of just lots of fun. As you can see here, you can see what I mean by she loves the plaid, so she's got this like sort of farmhouse vibe, foraging, all of that sort of stuff on her Instagram. So I felt like this was quite an ideal, playful, fun brand identity to mix and match with that sort of vibe and give of that kind of essence. Anyway, so as I was kind of finishing off mocking these up, I was trying to think of different things that I can add to her brand identity, and I was like, oh my word, packaging would be a really cool thing for Claire because she makes condiments and jams and sauces and all sorts of stuff. So let's do a packaging mock-up. So I did a tomato, vanilla and basil jam, which she had on her Instagram the other day. And I decided to add the actual little icon illustrations to the jam packaging. I thought it would just add something quite sweet, and it would also be an ode to the illustrations in the brand pattern, which I also put on the jar, but I multiplied it and turned the transparency down just so it was a very subtle hint. And then I went on to Envato Elements and I downloaded a jar mockup. If you don't know, I've linked Envato Elements down below in the description. This is not sponsored, but they have amazing high quality mockups that you can use when you're presenting work to clients and for your passion projects. So I dragged and dropped that into Photoshop. This is the jar mockup that I decided to use, and I just started recoloring it, just making it more of her brand identity colors. And then obviously I recolored what was actually inside the jar to match what a tomato jam would look like. And then I went back into my working file and I got the secondary logo, which is the CC for Condiment Claire, and instead of putting the entire logo on the lid of the jar, I just used the submark logo, which is a lot more simpler and easier and better to use for something that is smaller. If I had to squeeze the full primary logo onto a jar lid, it might look a bit squashed and cramped, and also I already have the primary logo on the label, so using the submark logo is just a kind of nice little change and it looks really good. And then I quickly mocked that up for presentation. And the packaging was the final step in the brand identity process, or all the elements that I wanted to create for Claire. So this is kind of a little overview quickly. You can see my working artboards and where we started and the process and where we are about to end up. And I like to show all of my different artboards because there's so much work that goes on behind the scenes that doesn't make it into the final video. So there's lots of little logo scamps and tries and tests and all sorts of stuff that worked and didn't work, but I keep them all there in my artboards. So without further ado, here is the final brand identity. Are you ready to see it? I present Condiment Claire brand identity. It's finished, so let me know what you think, and if you feel that this accurately depicts Condiment Claire's vibe and essence. The reason I chose her was because like just everything about her matches my design style very much, so I just thought it would be an awesome project to redesign or design a brand identity. Anyway, I hope you all have a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you soon. Bye!